Good evening. This is the caucus and council meeting of May 8th, 2024, council chambers. Presiding officer of the council, Milady Tejeda, wishes to advise the audience that notice of this meeting has been filed with the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and posted on the bulletin board in the city clerk's office and the city's website, indicating that today's meeting is being held in the council chambers, City Hall, 260 High Street at 5:30 p.m. Right now it's 5:45 p.m. The council meeting will follow the caucus and closed session. Council President Tejeda, as a courtesy of the governing body, I will ask all individuals present, including members of the audience, to please turn off all cell phones and electronic devices should you need to make a phone call. Please go out into the hallway and speak in a low voice so as not to disturb the ongoing meeting. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz.
Present.
Councilwoman Morales.
Present.
Councilman Puccio.
Present.
Councilman Torres.
Present.
Council President Tejeda.
Present. The presentation has been pulled. It will be rescheduled for later on. Ordinance, public hearing, 5 minutes maximum per speaker per ordinance. An ordinance adopting the Woodbridge, Perth, Amboy redevelopment plan in accordance with the local redevelopment and housing law. Agenda, public comments. Citizen may address the council on any matter on the agenda which does not have its own scheduled public hearing. Citizens shall be permitted to speak once for a maximum of 5 minutes. Reports. Fallon Barczewski, tax collector, submitted the monthly report of collection for the month of March 2024. Ordinance, first reading, no public discussion. Number one, ordinance appropriating $1,800,000 for renovations and upgrades to the library in and by the city of Perth Amboy in the county of Middlesex, New Jersey. Number two, an ordinance of the city, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hi. We do have Mr. Rosa, if you don't mind just elaborating on the renovations if possible. The programs have been amazing thus far.
Good evening, council members. Thank you so much for having me present tonight.
Okay.
My name is Joel Rosa. I'm the current library director for our historic library. I do have a presentation if you'd like me to share. I know that some of you perhaps haven't gotten the full detail of how we got to this point, so I wanted to eliminate any confusion or questions you may have.
Can that be presented on the screen?
All right. Can
Okay,
everyone
good.
see? Wonderful. So again, thank you so much for allowing me to present on this important project for our historic library. Again, I wanted to give you a brief history of how we got to this point. We first submitted a grant to Congressman Frank Pallone, and with support of Mayor Cava's letter of support on April 8th in 2021, which they came and assessed our library and indeed granted us the funds, having done an assessment of the current needs in our library. We had a press conference with Congressman Frank Pallone on September 9th, 2022, announcing that this project would take place. The City Council adopted a resolution R 4128/22 to receive the grant funding of $1.5 million on August 10th. And we put out an RFP for historical architect on October 12th. And we received proposals and evaluated all proposals, which were a total of 4, on January 24th, 2024. The reason why there were delays between some of this work is because we had to wait for the release of federal funding that are coming through HUD and are actually being managed through the Office of Economic and Community Development, which was the initial grant submission was placed through the Office of Economic and Community Development. Just to give you a brief outline of who was involved in the evaluation, the RFP participants were Clark, Caton, and Hintz, Dennis Cowell Architects, Lothrop, and MCA Architects. The scope of evaluation included RFP required documents, the experience with historic buildings, experience with community input, experience with working with SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Organization, assessment method, list of completed projects, cost of effectiveness, and proposals relativity to Perth Amboy. So we use these specific points to evaluate each proposal, and those involved in the evaluation were Maria Rivera, who's head of our purchasing department, Daniel Cleaver, head of our buildings and grounds, Rosalie Murillo, our library board president, Iris Alicea, library board vice president, Vicky Ana Ortega, our treasurer, Maria Diaz, library board trustee, and myself, the library director. This is a sample of the form that was used to evaluate our historical architects. The highest scoring participant of submitting their proposal was Dennis Cowell Architects. He scored an average of 146 points out of 160. All right, so just a little bit about Dennis Cowell. Dennis Cowell has 37 years of experience renovating historic libraries in New Jersey. He is a principal and founder, and also is the project manager for every project he's ever completed. Dennis Cowell Architects also has experience in creating a feasibility study for the Perth Amboy library renovations back in 2009. So he has a lot of experience already knowing the foundation of our Perth Amboy library. He's also a New Jersey native based out of Somerville, New Jersey, and he specializes in renovating historical buildings, including libraries. Here are some examples of the work that he's conducted, including Plainfield Public Library, Denville Public Library, Glen Rock Public Library, Hoboken Public Library, the Franklin Public Library, and Orange Public Library. All are based in New Jersey and have been completed. The scope of work that was included in our grant are listed here for your review. I will also make sure to submit this to the clerk's office so that they can send this presentation, this digital presentation, for your review at any time. But just to quickly run through them, we will be working on our restrooms. In the library's restrooms are outdated, especially in our children's library. Our tiles and toilets are just they're so just outdated, you know, not even current with our times. Our staff break room also is missing some essential elements that make it an official staff break room. It's missing a kitchen, furniture, sinks, and wall cabinets. Our local history room, I believe it's never been renovated. It has plaster falling from the ceiling, cracked lead paint, We also have outdated light fixtures and significantly worn out storage cabinets that need to be replaced. We also have our staff entry and exterior stair system. The removal, we would like to remove the current stair system and the construction of a code-compliant stair system that requires handrails, and it's something that we desperately need. A storage system. You know, we have very little space to keep our much of our library materials in an organized fashion. We also have, we would like to upgrade the library so that's more accessible for 21st century learners. That includes also making spaces more ADA compliant, installation of technical support, so that we can do more virtual programs, and perhaps integrate a media center. There's also external improvements that we want to make, including the front of the building. It has some cracks in the eaves, our parking lot, and just, things that help beautify, whether it be planting trees, flowers, that sort of thing, the entrance of our library. These are some images of our current library. So our children's library, as you can see, that's just one of the children's libraries down in the basement. You can see the crack in the ceiling, and the tiles are bowing out. We also, our history research room is probably my favorite room, and if anyone goes in there to find information, you'll see that it easily becomes anyone's favorite room, because it builds a sense of pride of what Perth Amboy is all about, and the work that's been done prior to us. But I can't have anyone do research in there because of its current condition. So it's important that we renovate this area. The back area of our children's library also is currently used as a storage space, but we believe that can be used for so much more, for quiet study space. As you can see, our library parking lot also has potholes that need to be repaired. This is an image from today after the heavy rainfall we had this morning. Some more pictures. We have a book cataloging office is out of date, currently being used as a storage room. Our staff kitchen, as you can see, it was much worse than this before I came on board. We added some tables and some chairs so that people could find a quiet space to eat, our staff. And our children's library, although we made some minor improvements, it should be more accessible to programming, to story time and various activities that are now that are known to be in libraries. Something that we try our best to do, but we want to make some improvements there, including getting a functional circulation desk, and just technology equipment that can help with virtual programming. A breakdown of the capital requests that's submitted to you is listed here. This goes along with our grant proposal that was submitted to Frank Pallone's office. In this initial proposal, we were researching to see if we had reserves available to do more, because our goal is to also construct a media space at some point in time. So I don't want to confuse you with this particular slide. I'm not sure how much information I was going to be presenting to you today, but this particular slide lists a total of 2.8 million. But for your review today, it's only for 1.8 million. We will revisit a potential ordinance in the future to perhaps include additional library space, what we like to call smart library space, and that could potentially be a multimedia center for our patrons. But for the most part, if we eliminate line item 8, smart space, everything else there is what's listed in our grant proposal. It sums up to be about 1.8 million. The grant that we received from Frank Pallone's office was a total of 1.5. We had to provide matching funds of 20%, and that came from our capital reserves, which we do have, of $300,000. Just to give you some breakdown of our project schedule, this is all based on when we have your verification of our funds to be used, and a contract has been in place with our architect. The steps, this will be the project schedule that will commence soon after. It's listed as in the following order. Step 1, phase master plan, 2 months, which would also include engaging our community and getting input from our community on how the space should be renovated. Step 2, schematic design, which will take about 2 months based on the input received and the assessments made. Step 3 will be a design design development, be a schematic, a visual, and blueprints of what the potential design project renovation would look. Step 4 will be the construction document that will list out specifically who will be involved when it comes to not who, but what construction work must be conducted prior to going to the bidding process, which is step 5, which Dennis Cowell Architects would also manage on behalf of the Perth Amboy Free Public Library, doing the entire bidding process, and then finishing up with the project management of the construction, which is step 6, which is approximately 12 months worth of work. Again, this is all estimates based on the proposal submitted by Dennis Cowell Architects. If we move quickly, we can expect this to be, if all was completed now, we can have Dennis Cowell start tomorrow. The project could be estimated completion by 2027, mid-2027, realistically speaking, more so 2028 of this, so within the next 4 years. So tonight, we're asking that you approve and the request to release funds to begin the work from our capital reserves. The Library Board of Trustees have also been presented this proposal, and they are also in approval of this project in all aspects, including the architect and the process that we want to go forward with to have this project completed. That's all I have for you for today, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Anybody has any questions? I want to thank you for all the work that is being done with the library. It has been a great improvement, and looking at this is going to be a great project for our children and our residents. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you.
I also wanted to echo that. I saw that you had the college fair, the Women History Month. The continuous programs that you have are amazing, and we do appreciate your dedication, and of course, you and the entire team, because it takes a village, and the volunteers. We also know there's a lot of volunteers who take out their time. Quick question, how would you collect input from the public? I know you mentioned that earlier, and great presentation, by the way.
Thank you. Again, Dennis Cowell has experience with coordinating the community. More than likely, it would be a collaborated effort between the administration, the library, and Dennis Cowell's expertise to promote the ability for the community to give input on this project. So it won't be just a work in silos of just designated individuals. This will be a real call out to the community, and whoever attends our meeting for input will participate and share their input. Other than that, if you would like more information, I don't know what other or additional processes that will be taking place to coordinate the community, but I can certainly follow up and bring you a response to that question. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 2, ordinance of the City Council of the City of Perth Amboy County of Middlesex, New Jersey, authorizing the sale of the property located at Block 89, lots 9.01, 11.01, 12.01, and 13.01, commonly known as the rear portions of 525-537 Smith Street, to Gateway Redevelopment LLC for the purchase price of $42,000 pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law NJSA 48, column 12A-1. Number 3, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Perth Amboy County of Middlesex, New Jersey, authorizing the vacation of certain portions of Herbert Street and Marcus Street pursuant to NJSA 40, column 67-1. An ordinance to establish the honorary naming at the intersection Gated Place and Pulaski Avenue as Anair Barbie Correa Way. That was number 4. Number 5, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to prevent stores, salt, and other solid de-icing materials from being exposed to storm water. Number 6, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy County of Middlesex, New Jersey, requiring the retrofitting of existing storm drain inlets to the municipal separate to the municipal storm sewer system. Resolution R-190-524, resolution to amend the 2024 capital budget and 6-year capital improvement program and authorizing the filing of some of same with the Division of Local Government Services. R-191-524, authorizing a contract with Dave Heiner Associates, Inc. for the purchase of 4 Paulus feeder pumps in the amount not to exceed $78,785 with 96 cents. R-192-524, amending Resolution R-106-324, authorizing change order number 1 to the contract with Core and Main for the purchase of 3,541 water meters of various sizes in accordance with the Educational Service Commission of New Jersey, number 65 MCESCCP, RFP number ESCNJ 19/2027, in an amount not to exceed the sum of $2,500. R-193-524, authorizing the closure of streets for the Celebrate Perth Amboy fireworks display to be held on July 3rd, 2024. R-194-524, authorizing refund of a road opening permit in the amount of $1,600 to Maria Hernandez for property located at 645 Raritan Avenue, Block 294, Lot 24. R-195-524, authorizing submission of an application to the U.S. Department of Energy for the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant in the amount of $114,270.
Council President.
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry, 196 has to be pulled from the agenda.
196? Okay, 196 is pulled. R-197, authorizing submission of an application to the County of Middlesex for the Middlesex County Swimming Lessons Pilot Program in the amount of $16,000. R-198-524, authorizing the Perth Amboy Police Activity League, PAL, to host its second annual carnival to be held Wednesday, June 12th through Sunday, June 16, 2024, at the Robert Willings Athletic Field on First Street and Sadowski Parkway. R-199-524, authorizing acceptance of the fiscal year 2023 local solicitation Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, JAG, in the amount of $1,100,086. And Mr. Green, you mentioned that
Yes.
23,000.
So of this $23,134 will be given to the city of Perth Amboy.
City of Perth.
And that's,
Okay.
yeah,
Thanks.
so,
R-200-524, authorizing an agreement between the City of Perth Amboy and the Perth Amboy Board of Education for the State of New Jersey 2024 Summer Food Service Program, breakfast and lunch, in the amount not to exceed $724,813. R-201-524, authorizing closeout change order and final payment statement number 4 to the contract with Seacoast Construction, Inc., decreasing the contract for the basketball court improvement in the amount of $9,234.53. R-202-524, authorizing a refund of a rubbish appointment fee in the amount of $30 to Janelli Ramos. R-203-524, authorizing refunds for 2 tenants for the return of key deposits for the Perth Amboy Harborside Marina in the total amount of $150. R-204-524, authorizing change order number 2 to the contract with T&M Associates for professional engineering services for the 2023 Road Improvement Program Phase 2 project in the amount of $62,000. R-205-524, authorizing a contract with Allegiance Trucks for the purchase of a dump truck through Co-op 65 MCES CCPS bid number ESCNJ 23/24-04, dump trucks plow in the amount not to exceed $172,080 with 99 cents.
Council President, is
yes, he's here.
Matthew, the
Ms.
director?
Nieves, Matthew's here.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
thank you.
Good evening, Council. Matthew
Hi.
Nieves, Director of Public Works. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just actually, the next few resolutions are about obtaining several different vehicles. I would like you just, I know this,
Yes.
large amounts. Would you, I know you sent us an email
Yes.
explaining what it is, but would you kindly please explain to the public, what their need is for
I
these
can.
individual?
Can I go through all of them, or do I have to stop?
Yes,
now?
please.
Okay.
Yes.
So the first one is the dump truck. That would be going, it's pretty much for multi-use, but it's going to go into our snow detail. It's going to be most of the use for that dump truck. The second one, is pretty much for various pickup trucks. Third one is for automated cans for our next phase of garbage collection. The one after that is the automated side loader for the next phase, which would actually be the Catherine Street section. Catherine, Cortland, Charles, Elizabeth, Pulowski, and the Pulowski area over there by Rudick Park. The one after that is a rear loading garbage truck with tippers. I had spoke on this a little bit in one of the last meetings. The purpose of that truck is we're going to create one-way routes, and we also have a lot of dead ends and smaller streets that we have to have a rear loader and physically have an employee pick it up. This is going to have the ability to have toter tippers, is what they're called, in the back. We're going to have an automated garbage can, and the employee is going to be rolling it over to the back of the garbage truck and hitting a lever, and the lever actually does the work. The one after that, I think that was it. I'm sorry.
That was
That's
it.
it.
So the conditions of all the current trucks that you do have, you do need these,
Yes.
Vehicles.
We do have some that are already, for lack of a better term, junk. A lot of the trucks, what we find is that we're constantly having to repair them. A lot of the trucks that we're trying to replace are over 20 years old. Most of them, some of them are from the 1980s, we have some in the 90s, and some from the early 2000s. So they're past their life expectancy. We've done as much as we can with these trucks. We're constantly investing, in a sense, for repairing these vehicles, and some of these parts are becoming obsolete. So eventually, we're not gonna have parts to fix these older vehicles, and we should have newer vehicles, coming into our fleet.
You good?
Okay, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I have a question,
Oh.
Mr. Nieves.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I saw pictures of some of these vehicles, and they were pretty old and beat. Is this the first time a request was put in to replace those vehicles?
I don't understand the question.
Um,
As far as funding?
For funding, correct. Did you put in a request to replace those vehicles last year or the year prior to that?
Good
Or
question.
is this the first time that you're putting in a request to replace these vehicles?
That's a good question. So there was some funding available. However, COVID, et cetera, happened, and we had challenges finding pretty much vehicles, period. Pickup trucks were a little over 20 to 30,000 above sticker price when we had the opportunity years ago. We put in a request for 2023 for some more funding. We collected the funding together, and we decided to go and get as many pickup trucks as we can get now.
Since you brought up COVID,
Yes.
that was going to be my question for you, Mr. Green. Were we able to use the ARPA funds to cover some of these expenses?
Well, these funds were already prior approved by council. This is capital improvement funds. This is not funds that are coming out of our budget or nothing like that. This was prior.
This is not the question that I'm asking. I was asking Mr. Green a question about if we could have used the ARPA funds, not where the funds are coming from now. That is completely separate from the question that I was asking our business administrator. Mr. Green, were we able to use ARPA funds to cover these expenses, since we knew that years ago that we had a...
Let me start by saying what Mr. Nieves said. You're 100% correct, so thank you. Again, with the COVID, these monies were set aside through capital funding, and then COVID came along. So now let's turn to your question, pivot to that. Could we use this funding to buy vehicles? And so let's cut to the chase and say exactly what the legislation, which was passed federally, and what it stated. It said that the funds could be used for water infrastructure, which I think we did. We bought some water infrastructure things that were needed with this ARPA fund. There was 16 million.
I like that you
It said
always bring-
hazardous duty.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
I like the way that you always bring up the water. The only reason why a little bit of money went in for the water, for the ARPA funds, is because you didn't have the votes to go forward to bond for that one part. That is the only reason. And I like that you bring it up time and time again, that you put money from ARPA funds for the water infrastructure. But the truth, let's be truthful here. The only reason that happened was because I was able to block it. He didn't have the votes to go forward to bond for that one part. That's the only reason that one little portion for the meters was covered by ARPA funds. Okay, I'm sorry.
Can you
But I just
let
wanted
him
to have some
finish
clarity
this?
there.
Okay.
You can let
So,
him finish.
yes, there was $16.8 million. And I know we want to believe that $16.8 million is going to be a panacea and it's going to solve all of our problems. Unfortunately, that could not be the case because there's a lot of problems. Water alone, as we have the water director here, the water plant is over $80 million by itself.
Can we have used the ARPA funds to cover these
Oh, okay. So you're
expenses?
back.
That's the one question.
Okay.
We're going to
Right.
giving me a novel. I just
Okay.
have a simple question. Could we
Let me
use
cut to the
ARPA
chase
funds?
for the public at large. Let me answer this question. What could you use specifically the funds for? Water infrastructure, hazardous duty pay, COVID-related expenditures, community grants, public safety, and access to broadband. Vehicles are not on that list, so that will answer your question. Without the novel, that's the, what we used to call it in college or law school, I guess the quick cliff notes.
So vehicles were not allowed to be, okay. Vehicles not, and how much did we use for the expansion of broadband?
Expansion of broadband, the numbers we used it for, as you know, was here within the city, expanding infrastructure, IT infrastructure, and also for police, when we expanded infrastructure for our technology
How about
there.
for the public? How much did we use for the expansion broadband?
We are, once, again, we're in the phases, we're still in that, and we're still putting out to bid, and we're going to expand the infrastructure for access to broadband, and once that's implemented, then we'll be, so I can give you that exact number, I think it's like $1.2 million, let me follow up and give you that number.
Okay.
But to your question again, the Cliff Notes, no, you could not use it on vehicles. Water infrastructure, hazardous duty, COVID-related expenditures, community grants, public safety, and access to broadband.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. We're here on, now we go 206. R 206-524, authorizing a contract with Paramus Ford, Inc., DBA, All Americans Ford of Paramus for the purchase of various pickup truck through Co-op 65 MCES CCPS cars crossover class 1-3 pickup trucks / chassis, sport utility vehicles and vans bid number ESCNJ 23/24-11 in the amount not to exceed $472,264.50. R 207-524, authorizing a contract with IPL NA Inc. for 1,430 95-gallon Omni carts through HGAC by contract R number RC01-21 in the amount not to exceed the sum of $74,229.60. R 208-524, authorized a contract with Whitkit Sanitation Equipment Corporation for the purchase of an automated garbage truck with containers in accordance with Sourcewell, a national co-op contract number 110223-LEG in the amount not to exceed $432,952.65. R 209-524, awarding a contract for the purchase of a rear-loading garbage truck with tippers from Hudson County Motors in accordance with TIPS Co-op contract number 230802 in the amount not to exceed the sum of $263,944. R 210-524, extending the agreement with William P. Opel Esquire and the firm of I can't pronounce that, Macnamon, Scotland and Bowman LLC to provide legal services as requested by the city in the amount not to exceed $37,651.70. R 211-524, pursuant to NJSA 48:4-39, authorizing a dedication by rider to the SFY 2024 budget for the specific trust fund for UEZ state revenues. R 212-524, authorizing initiation of a competitive contract for professional consulting services related to the creation of the Urban Enterprise Zone 5-year plan. R 213-524, refund of tax overpayment to Cinco Realty LLC for Block 76, Lot 25-447 Smith Street. R 214-524, tax exempt full disabled veteran refund overpayment. We got communications.
Madam President? I wanted to go back to one of the ordinances.
Which one?
The fireworks one. So it's really not about the actual ordinance, but
It's a resolution.
the resolution. Not
It's
really about the resolution itself, but it kind of put something in my mind that I have a question for the fire chief and the police chief as in regards to fireworks. You know, last year, the Township of Woodbridge, for the weeks leading up to 4th of July, put it on their social media that fireworks that go into the sky are illegal. They are dangerous. And every year, around 4th of July, the city of Perth Amboy becomes a war zone. You know, and not only am I speaking for the senior citizens, I'm speaking for the mothers that have young children. And, you know, I want to know if we're going to come up with a plan. Last year, the fire chief went Channel 12 and did that little thing, which was pretty good. But I want to know if we have a plan of attack to enforce the quality of life issues in regards to fireworks. Because God forbid, somebody gets hurt this time. Now, I know up where I live, and Mr. Lozada lives, from when the sun goes down until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, there are massive displays of fireworks. I don't have to go down the waterfront to watch the fireworks. I just go on my back porch and watch people go into the park and do fireworks. Now, Mr. Perez lives up there, and you know what I'm saying, how bad it gets up there. Last year, we had somebody do a fireworks display in the parking lot at Hamilton and Gornick. Now, we're in May. This is May 8th, I believe, right? Am I right? Mm-hmm. So I would like to know what we're going to do come 4th of July, before 4th of July. Because you know what? I don't need people knocking on my door. I don't need people grabbing me when I'm doing my walks to tell me, what are you doing, Councilman Puccio? So I'm trying to be nice about this. And this is like a 2-month head start. So all I'm asking, that when we come to the next council meeting, can somebody address the council and say, yes, this is what we're going to do. Now, I'm not knocking anybody. All I'm saying is, what are we going to do to combat the illegal fireworks? Because there's a lot of misinformation. I mean, last year, somebody told me, oh, they're legal. No, they're not. No, they're not. If they go up in the air and explode, they are illegal in the state of New Jersey. So we don't have to do nothing now. I'm just saying, and I'm trying to be very, very nice about this, because there are people that are complaining about this. It used to be, you know, people would go do their fireworks, but now it's like everybody's doing it, and they're doing it to the extent of endangering people. And it is a fire hazard. Okay, thank you, Madam President. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
that
that's
clicked
okay.
in my mind, so I figured,
Council President?
no.
Sorry. I just have a
I'm
question.
sorry, Mr.
Are you-
Councilman Torres.
Yeah,
Were
I
you
just
going
wanted
to say something?
I wanted to piggyback off of public safety, since we're going into the summer months, we're going into the festival and open space events time. I have attended a lot of public events, outdoor events. And within the last decade, I've noticed that mostly every professional event that is outdoor, especially in New York City, you can't bring an umbrella. And there's reasons for that. We invested a lot of money in cameras. And when you have a lot of people using umbrellas, basically it makes the cameras just useless. They can't see underneath that canopy. That's why in Manhattan, New York City, Times Square, they never let you use any umbrellas at all for any public events. So I've seen in the past there's umbrella use. So we should keep this in mind. If we're going to use technology to control, then we got to make sure that we're going to be efficient with it and make sure that it works. That's all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Morales? Okay.
I'm sorry, before you guys close, Resolution R-204, it should not say change order. It should say just authorizing a contract. I just caught that.
204 is not a change order?
It's
What is
not.
it?
It's authorizing a contract, not authorizing a change order.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Councilwoman Morales?
Oh, no,
You had a
it's just
question?
a little question regarding 213 and 214. Is there dollar amount on those two refunds?
Yeah, I have it. It's, for 213, it's, 5,281 and 63 cents.
Okay.
It's 13, right? That was it?
14.
14.
That one is $679.21.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything for closed session today?
No.
Anybody has anything?
Yeah,
No? Okay.
no.
Yeah, no.
No? Okay.
But,
Public portion, 5 minutes maximum per speaker. I need a motion to open to the public.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Another lawsuit. Ken Ballard, 359 Brook Avenue. Board of Education raising our taxes? Does anybody know?
No,
They're not raising any taxes.
no.
But they had massive layoffs, did they? They have
True, but
layoffs?
they're not raising taxes, no.
But they're not raising taxes, but there's layoffs. So the money from the pilots could have been used to save those jobs, if it was done right. Now, when we do these pilots, does anybody discuss anything with the Board of Education? Now, according to the 10 points, things that we're supposed to do, we're supposed to have meetings with the Board of Education. But I haven't seen a meeting with the Board of Education probably since I left here. The best practices was supposed to be a meeting with the Board of Education.
Mr. Ballard, we have been.
You did?
I'm the liaison.
We have these.
Wow.
Yes,
Right, okay. Did we discuss the pilots and how much money?
no, no, but I'm
Okay.
just letting you know.
So,
that we-
right, so if the pilot, they don't know about pilots, so how do they discuss it? And that's a lot of money, correct? All right, the direct this to Mr. Torres here. Mr. Torres, your father, Councilman Torres, sorry. Your father-in-law at one time came up and made a presentation about brokers and insurance. Now, our insurance fees are going up. Now, we're going back to a broker system, and I put in Oprah's to find out how much money we got and where's the RFPs. Well, I haven't got them yet, and I don't know whether delays or whatever, but that should be public of the RFPs, of how much money we're doing for insurance. The insurance is going up, and it was part of our budget where everybody complained that it's the unions and the people. But what about our brokers? This was supposed to be stopped about brokers and doing certain things. We're going back. And the names that I'm getting from other towns and other people, these players are going back to players that might be involved in the McGreevy administration, all the stuff that came up. So there should be an audit of what is going on with our insurance and the prices. And that's what you should be having an audit. Because if we go back to the same way we went, and you two sitting on the council know how much money was misappropriated under the insurance, it was millions of dollars that we found. Millions. Now, insurance is going up, and if nobody's watching where the insurance are, and if there's no RFPs and no bids, and certain people are just making selections here, there's a serious problem. And we're going back to what happened. And you all be responsible of money. Because you know, and you know that it happened. Millions were stolen with a broker. And these players are starting to leach back into the system. The same players. I mean, Councilman Puccio knows this. So this is seriously is a problem here. And it's gotta be when insurance go up. And you can ask your father-in-law about it, because he made a presentation here about that. So I don't know if this is the new thing that we're gonna reintroduce brokers and skipped the RFPs and all that stuff. I don't know what's happening. But there's something seriously wrong with the insurance now, when certain people are getting it and certain people are not getting it, the stop loss money, and all the other money that's going across here. So something's gotta happen. So I don't get it. And now they got a thing about crime stats, and this was pointed out to me, and I know a little bit about crime stats. In 2020, there was 1,053 total crimes. In 2023, there were 1,655 total crimes. That doesn't seem like it's going up. That's gone up a serious amount of number here. So I don't know what the mayor's saying and the police director. And the way he handles his employees, it seems to be, is disgusting. Because he doesn't treat them right. You assault a police officer and you get away with it. Now I hear there's certain language that this employee has made and said. That could be either, I don't know if it's racist, I don't know if it's homophobic, or I don't know what it is. But if factually is that's true, that's a serious problem you're keeping that guy on. And that's why we lose lawsuits, because nobody can testify, because they know what's happening. We had a guy, Councilman Puccio can have it, but this guy did, he worked for the city for how long? And he got a pension, never should have been hired by the city. That's why we lose money. So I would like this council to do an investigation into the insurance and why the rates are going up so much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening, Joseph Voss, 317 Rector Street. I just wanted to come up and talk a little bit about these, well, I'll call them political propaganda at this point, just because they're being paid for on taxpayer dollars during an election cycle, and some of them use, political language that I've seen in the past, and they're sort of riddled with errors or misinformation. And so I question the timing of a lot of these items. So I was just wondering, like, how much have we spent on these mailers to households? And has anybody thought about the ethical question of using taxpayer dollars during an election cycle to pay for political propaganda? We had two of these, right? One of them was riddled with errors because it wasn't proofed and it was mailed to every resident in the city, right? And then we had the verified version because they looked at it and then they mailed it again on taxpayer dollars, right? Then we received another glossy tax state of the city. And then we received another one. Now he's actually physically going to do a state of the city. So I'm questioning, why does it need to be sent 4 times to taxpayers in an election year? And they used to say that this was a quarterly report. Remember when you ran, I made a comment about it because they used the language moving Perth Amboy forward, and at that time it was your slogan. And I would be okay with it if this was regularly occurring, but given the fact that we have an election this year and this is being paid for by taxpayer dollars, I have a question about how much this costs the taxpayers. Does anybody know that? Because I know it's like 11,000 households. I mean, a regular stamp is 68 cents. This is glossy paper. I have a general idea of what I've been paying. But so before I lose my time, because I know that I'm not going to
Just
give any
finish
more
your
time,
questions.
we'll see if they're answered. But something that former council member Ken Ballot brought up was that in some of these propaganda, it says here that crime is lower. It says it right here. Crime is lower. And we saw the mayor and the police director go on Channel 41 and say that crime is lower after we had that violent crime on Maple Street where somebody was fatally stabbed, and there was a drive-by shooting on, First and Gordon Street. And then I went to the webpage, and it's on the financial office webpage. It's on the webpage here for the city of Perth Amboy, and I tapped on this report. It's an appendix. I printed enough copies for everybody. And I just printed it. It's a 31-page. It's a supplement. I guess it goes inside the BOM prospectuses that you guys put out there. It's certified or it's It's brought together by people in the city of Perth Amboy. And I just printed out 3 pages. And the third page is the crime statistics. And so Helmut Kaba in his State of the City is saying that crime is down, even though we see violent crime every day. But when I look at when he took office 2020, the total number of crimes was 1,053. And in 2023, which doesn't include this year with all the violent crime we've had, we were at 1,655. And so when I do the math, this is regular arithmetic, I take 1,655 minus 1,053. That's 602 more crimes in our community, which equates to a 57.2% increase while Helmut Kaba has been mayor. So it goes back to this being propaganda and not true statistics. So does anybody have, again, I'm going to go back to the question, do you guys have any feelings about the ethics behind using taxpayer dollars to circulate political propaganda? And if I can ask a question of Ms. Goldie, whether or not she knows about the accuracy of this information through the Madam Council President, of course, and whether or not she has any belief that this information would be incorrect. Thank you.
I have a question. Where did these stats come from?
That's Ms. Goldie, it's on our webpage.
The crime statistics?
So you can ask Ms. Goldie, that's why I was going to say that, because I didn't put this together. This is on the webpage for the city of Perth Amboy, on the finance office tab, if you will. And so if you go there, there's a 31-page, I guess it goes up as part of your bond prospectuses, when they give information, demographics about the community. And this is compiled by city employees, and I believe the chief or police director compiles this information, so, or at least the police director should know about these statistics, certainly, right, if he's going to be the police director, before he goes on live TV, Channel 41, and claims that
Okay, I think
crime
your
is down.
time is up.
I mean, so
Yeah,
yeah,
can
Ms.
somebody
Goldie-
please explain if this is either Chief or Jill Goldie, please? Thank you.
The document that he's referring to is called Appendix A. It is the Appendix A to all of our bond prospectuses when we do a bond sale. It's a document that we've been putting forth for most of the years that I've been here. And the particular statistics that he's referring to with regards to the crime statistics comes from the police department. Previous to the past few years, and the chief can speak to that, we used to have what's called the Uniform Crime Report. I think it's what it was referred to. That's where the statistic was taken from directly. In the past few years, the data comes directly from the police department. There's a spreadsheet that's maintained that they provide me.
From the police department?
The police department, police chief is who I ask for it from. It doesn't always come directly from him, but he directs somebody to provide it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Police Chief, my question is, how would these statistics that she has on her website, as opposed to the statistics that were taken from the FBI website?
I don't have all the data here in front of me. However, I can't attest to 2021 because I would not have provided those numbers. I was not the chief at that time. I believe that says total crime is what that does. And
Total
understand,
crimes, yes.
right, understand that 20 and 21 we call the COVID year, so all of the
Do you have the
numbers.
sheet in front, sorry, do you have the sheet in front of you?
I do not.
Can we get one, please?
Okay, thank you. Just so that way we're on the same page. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you. So, again, these prior years, I wouldn't be able to tell exactly where they came from. 20 and 21, we call the COVID years. We know that those numbers in anything are skewed. People were home, people weren't home, there was a lot of different things going on back then. So 2021, I can't account for. If you're using the word, again, total crime versus violent crime, there's different things. FBI statistics look at some things, some states look at things There's different types of crime that there is. Total crime could include simple assaults, okay? Total crime could include thefts, either from a person, from a vehicle, those types of things. Where violent crime is, as it dictates, violent crime. Your rapes, your homicides, your aggravated assaults, those types of things. So that's where those number differences could be, total crime versus violent crimes. Many times when people talk, they talk about violent crime, is what, not that other crime is not discounted, but that's not necessarily what is focused on many times when people talk about crime. It's violent crime, and what is the violent crime numbers and so forth. So that's potentially where the difference is.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, I have a question. I have a question, Chief, about FBI, the numbers.
Yes.
Where do the FBI get their numbers for our crime stats? Do they receive their numbers directly from us, or is there some other source that they receive their numbers from?
We report everything to the state police, and then state police, I believe, reports up to the FBI.
So the numbers that they have are numbers that we gave them?
Correct. Everything comes from our computers. Okay. So back in the day, things were done by paper, which, you know, could be different and so forth. Now, the second that you call in for any kind of call for service, it's there. Now we go there, we make an arrest, or we charge. It's all part of that continuous record that cannot be deleted, can't be changed, anything. It's there.
Okay, so their numbers are just numbers that we provided them?
It's provided through the electronic system that's included in there. So even if I wanted to do away with an incident, and it can't be done. It's hard coded into the, and everything is tracked as to what's done.
Thank you so much.
So the FBI website would be pretty accurate.
Again, it was reported to the state, and then the state reports the numbers to them unless something happened in that between the state and feds, which, again, I wouldn't know about, but we provide that, that information that comes
So
directly.
it's important for people to understand that there's a difference between total crimes that includes, like you said, many different types of crimes.
Okay, and that could be anything, graffiti, any criminal mischief, those types of things versus violent crime, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Mr. Green, I have a question. Okay. Now that it's campaign season, I'm not running, but I do a lot of reading. And I read one article that dealt with a campaign debate, mayoral debate. And in this article, they stated how our current mayor wasn't going to participate. But then there was a statement that was provided by a city employee stating why the mayor was not going to participate and given a statement for the mayor. Now, I'm not sure. I don't think debates are a part of the duty of the mayor. I thought that has to do more with campaigns. So I thought that maybe that statement should have came from a campaign manager or a campaign spokesperson as opposed to coming from someone who's actually being paid by the city. You know, is that proper?
I'll have to look into that and see what you're talking about. I haven't read it, so. But definitely give it to me, and I'll let you know after.
Our chief of staff made a statement to Susan Russell for the mayor about why the mayor was not going to participate in a debate. But to me, I think a debate for the mayor or a debate is not the duty of the mayor. That is something for a campaign, someone who is actively pursuing a campaign, and those are separate, and they should be separated, and the resources should be separated. But I'm not sure if this is ethical.
Anybody else?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Tofik, 341 Colfax Street. So I passed off to you guys a copy of my contract for the police tow dated January of 22, and also a copy of the new ordinance that was passed around by the police department. I had the chance to speak to Mr. Opel before, but I have concern with the police department in regarding to the contradiction between the previous contract that we signed back in 22, which states clearly that it's for the current year of 22, and it's only for the term of 1 year. as opposed to the current fees. The previous contracts, as per Traffic Sergeant Medina, states that we have to adhere by the contract, which has been overridden by the current ordinance that was passed. So my question would be, what are we supposed to follow? Keep in mind that we don't have a contract since '22. Do we follow the current ordinance, or do we follow the null and voided contract from 2022? There's been a little gray area and shades that needs to be covered. Also, on the bottom of the spreadsheet the police department provided to us, it said that we must accept credit card payments. I strongly suggest that we do away with that and move towards more of a formal electronic payment. And the reason why is most people now have everything on their cell phone, whether it's going to be Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, and such other vendors that use electronic payments. And the reason why I say stay away from the credit card payments, because I personally have experienced great knowledge of people that will pay with a credit card, leave, and they will cancel the payment. And then it becomes a bigger problem. It becomes legal, civil, and criminal. And the procedures involving the police department in this, to file a complaint, file a report, follow up, is more and far more extensive than rather have someone pay with a form of payment that's guaranteed funds. So I suggest, I know it's in the new contract that's coming up, but my question is in the interim, from now till the new contract, what is it that we're doing? And I speak for all of us because it's been contradictive. The police department wants to follow us the contract from '22. However, we have a new ordinance that we should be following. We should be following the new ordinance, not something from 2 years ago.
Okay.
So that's what I would
Is
like to
your
know.
question, are you finished?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Opel?
Yeah, so the ordinance was recently adopted, became effective on April 22nd, I believe. So we prepared and we're working through the new contracts, and it's drafted. They can be presented to the council at the May 22nd meeting if you wish to consider them then. The new contracts incorporate the new language from the adopted ordinance. So, I mean, there is a little bit of a concern. There's a little bit of a lag between the language of the previously approved contracts and the new language of the ordinance. So I understand to some extent that there could be some confusion. I'll say a few things. One, those contracts are valid. The new ordinance, the provisions of the new ordinance are effective. So I think that the council needs to move forward, as soon as the next meeting, if possible, on considering the new contracts. The second thing is that the provisions, the police department's going to enforce the provisions, or whoever is going to enforce the provisions of the tow ordinance from April 22nd going forward. However, anything prior to the effective date of April 22nd, the prior ordinance was in place. So we have to keep that in mind as well. But, we're close, I think, on the final form of the towing contracts going forward. And, if the council wishes, we can make sure that it's finalized to be considered at the next meeting, if that's what you wish.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
So what do we follow from this point till that day? Are we following the ordinance or the contract?
So,
We'll have to follow the ordinance, because that's what the council adopted.
That's what I wanted to hear.
So from
Thank you so
April
much.
22nd going forward, we have to follow the ordinance.
Great, thank you so much.
thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Anybody else?
Hello, I spoke last week about the city council adopting a ceasefire resolution.
Your name, sir?
Oh, hello. My name is Daniel, 601 Cornell Street, and I still have not heard anything so far. Only one member has spoken to me about the ceasefire resolution, which I do appreciate, but I would like to get a meeting at least with one member of the city council to see if Perth Amboy can adopt a ceasefire resolution. And I just wanted to remind everyone what this is about. So a few days ago, I believe yesterday, so Rafah, the invasion has started, and Rafah, it was the designated safe zone for everyone to go. So there are over 600,000 children there and families, and 1.2 million people that are going to be in a place of warfare and there's nowhere else for them to go. No humanitarian aid is being entered. There's no assistance for them. And this is all being done and sponsored by the United States of America. And I hope you guys remember that. You are city council members, and we all have a role here to play. And passing a ceasefire resolution can not only help there, but also just globally and around the world. And I think it's a really important stance to take if you all care about humanity. So I would really appreciate to speak with at least one of you all and trying to make sure that this can maybe be adopted in the next meeting. Thank you.
Hi, I'm definitely going to reach out to you, but I just have a couple of questions about the ordinance that you provide. That ordinance that you provided us, has other municipalities passed that ordinance?
Yeah, so Patterson, Union City, North Bergen. So I believe the number of cities right now that have passed the ordinance is 16 cities. But then again, there is changes in like some languages. So like little things like they might say is like the death toll, because as every day that increases significantly. And then also there are, I believe there's like a sponsorship of like U.S. law that might possibly pass, but you don't need to include that unless you want to. So definitely that's what I would want the meeting for, is to whatever, if you guys want to add anything to it or take anything and just making sure that it reflects your interests as well.
Okay, great.
Mr. Rosario, I read it,
Mm-hmm.
okay? It's pretty long, and wherever that city was, right? So, you know, the city attorney is working on it. We've had discussions, okay? But just so you know and be upfront with you, it's one-sided, your ceasefire resolution. It's one-sided.
Can I, well,
You know, and
I'll reply to
look.
that. There's no two sides on genocide.
yeah,
There's no
I
two sides.
read it.
There's no two sides on
I
genocide.
read it, young man. I read it. It's one-sided.
There's no two sides on genocide.
You want me to read it here?
Yes, you can read it out loud. I promise you. There's a lot of, if you want to
No, we're
speak
not-
more
I'm
about
not
it
gonna read
personally,
it.
I would appreciate
But all
that.
I'm trying to tell you is,
Yep.
I read it at length.
Not to get into much into international politics, but Hamas has agreed a couple of days ago, along in Egypt, for the ceasefire. And right afterwards, their bombing continued. So one group is willing to negotiate and to sit down and call a ceasefire immediately, and one group is not. That is the current state that we're in right now.
And I just want to remind everybody that there are 600,000 children that are at risk of being killed. And I just want you to think about your own families, about what you might do if this was your family. And I know some people might say, oh, this has nothing to do with you. But I also recognize that we live in a world together, and this is being paid by our tax dollars, U.S. tax dollars, in Perth, Amboy, and cities across the country. So I don't want to hear there are two sides about this. No. When there's a war of 70% children and women being killed, there's no two sides. And I'm sorry, Israel has spoken about that they have given up on bringing their hostages home. So at this point, it is not about hostages. It is taking more land and resources from the Palestinian people that have started in 1948 and have been colonized by many different people. So I don't appreciate your comments at all.
You just answered the question.
Okay, but
Okay, so, look, I'm just telling you, I read it. It comes across as one-sided, and you just spoke that way. Because you're talking
there's
about
only
things.
one.
Okay, I'm
You're
sorry,
talking
I'm
about
sorry.
You should be
1948.
respectful.
You're out of order.
Well, I appreciate you advocating, and just know that we did all receive your email. It was sent to everybody who's up here. We appreciate that, and we do agree with the ceasefire. Now it's just about looking at the language. So thank you once again for being a young scholar and for advocating, and we will look into it, and we will have that conversation. Thank you again.
Anybody else?
This is the lady that wants to talk about the handicap.
Okay.
She wants somebody to translate for her.
Anybody? Oh, maybe,
Do we have the,
Oh, Diane didn't come up. I do have the little translator.
has the translator been working? Has it been working well?
I do have the little translator.
Oh, yeah,
okay, how is that gonna go? I don't know.
Un momentito.
say this. That young guy, right? Should listen to the news now. Right now, we're holding up the shipment of arms to Israel.
Okay.
But, and
Él
putting
está
the
buscando
pressure
algo.
on- No, putting the pressure on Israel to back off.
Okay. Vamos,
Mr. Green?
mientras él se prepara, deje que otra persona hable. Okay. Anybody else? She will go after, once he's ready.
Good evening, Council President. Good evening, council members. Junior Iglesias, 712 Columbus Circle. Council members, I think that it would be very practical to consider in the future, given that our community is 80% Latino and the dominant language is Spanish, to have a translator here and for it to be advertised that language shouldn't be a barrier to address the city council. I think that anyone in our community should have the opportunity to come here and express what their concerns are without having to wait or without having to go to an extent where it's not practical for them to be here. So I think that we got to make it a little more accessible, just food for thought. In another regard, public safety is one of the pillars of our community. Without public safety, we don't have a community. We don't have a quality of life. And so public safety is a main concern. When we look at the statistic published in the finance report, in the index report, and we see that in 2020, there were a total crimes 1,053. In 2021, 1,227. That was an increase of 16%. 2022, 1,472, an increase of 20%. And then in 2023, 1,055 total crimes in our community. From 2020 to 2023, a 57% increase in crime. It doesn't matter if it was a small crime, a big crime. A crime is a crime. And we shouldn't discriminate in crimes. Crime is a crime, and we got to count all crimes. So one of my questions is, right, for the police director, as a matter of policy, have there be consideration of revising our public safety policy to address a statistic such as this one? We see it every day. We live it every day. And so we have to take action, because without safety, we do not have a community. This is extremely, extremely important. And I urge this city council to work with the director of the police department to review our public safety policy and make sure that we make appropriate changes to our community to make it safer. Now, I have another question for the city council concerning the usage of literature using political slogan in official business. Is the city council okay with using public funds, taxpayers' dollars? In this flyer we got here, we have the slogan very clearly, moving Perth Amboy forward. That is the slogan of the campaign. And so, is the city council okay with a candidate to use public funds to send flyers to our community? What was the cost of that? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Are you ready?
It says low battery, man. Let's see this.
Hello, hello.
What is this?
Translate.
No, no. Why?
This is,
Handicap parking?
that was denied.
Sí, buenas tardes.
Yes, good afternoon.
Me llamo Anaí Córdoba y mi dirección,
That is too slow. That doesn't work.
me llamo Anaí Córdoba y mi dirección es 274 de Grace Street.
My name is Anae Cordova, and my address is 274 Grace Street.
Okay.
Yo estoy aquí porque yo tenía mi handicap, mi casa de parqueo, y yo lo usé mal. Lo reconozco que sí, pero no sabía que se tenía que usar así. Yo tengo 2 carros y cuando yo pensaba que del que yo bajaba
Dale
era,
tiempo a que
I
traduzca.
am here because I had my handicap in my parking lot and I used it more. I recognize that, yes, but I did not know that it has to be used like this. I have 2 cars and when I thought that the one I was getting off.
yo bajaba del carro y ponía el letrero y no era así. La gente me puso complaint y una oficial me lo quitó.
I was getting out of the car and putting up the sign and it wasn't like that. People gave me complaints and an officer took it away from me.
Yo fui y me explicaron el motivo y le pedí una oportunidad que lo iba a hacer bien. No sabía que era así, entonces no me la dio, me lo quitó y mi doctor.
I was explained the reason and I asked him for a chance that I was going to be well. I didn't know it was so he didn't give it to me and I took it away.
Mi doctora le mandó una carta escrita a la policía y aquí a City Hall y apliqué ya otra vez y me lo negaron. Pero si estoy aquí es porque en realidad lo necesito.
My doctor sent a written letter to the police and here to do son and I applied again and they denied me, but if I am here it is because I really need it.
Yo acepto que hice malas cosas, pero si me dan la oportunidad de volverlo a tener, yo voy a tratar de hacerlo como me dijeron, que solamente es el carro que tenga las placas de handicap.
I accept that I did things wrong, but if they give me the opportunity to have it back, I will try to do it as I was told. It is only the car that has the handicap plates.
No fue mi intención hacer eso y por eso estoy aquí. No sé inglés, pero pues yo me vine aquí. Vine hace un mes también, pero no pude pasar porque no entendía nada hasta que pedí ayuda allá abajo y estoy aquí otra vez.
I didn't mean to do that and that's why I'm here. I don't know English, but I came here a month ago too, but I couldn't pass because I didn't understand anything until I asked. I'm down and I'm here again.
Bueno, pues eso es la verdad y aquí traigo la hoja si la quieren ver y yo puedo volver a aplicar y a ver si corro con más suerte.
Well, that's the truth and here I bring the sheet if you want to see it and I can reapply and see if I run stronger.
Gracias y disculpen que no sé inglés, pero pues voy a hacer la luchita.
Thank you and sorry I don't know English, but I'm going to make the night. Thank you and sorry I don't know English, but I'm going to make the night.
That little thing works pretty good. I'm surprised. It actually. Yeah, that's pretty good.
We
I
should
wish-
definitely have it.
Well, I wish
Prepared.
Mr. Iglesias was here to see that, but unfortunately, he left.
Okay, anybody else?
Y gracias.
Good evening, council. Just 1 minute. I wanted to give an update. 940 State Street. All the vehicles have finally been removed. It took many months, but we had that one lien. We're going to be having a second lien placed on the property owner for the balance of the days because a different type of violation started as April 1st. So probably the next council meeting will have that. Secondly, you mentioned fire safety. You know I eat, breathe, sleep fire safety. So I know our reporter's here, so she could probably put it in the paper. But yes, fireworks that go up in the air and explode are illegal. We are probably one of the leaders on social media to put that out there. We reached out to News 12. We got the story out there. So just starting when you planted the seed, I'll work with Chief Catano. If I got to send fire prevention, bring them in at night just to drive with their lights on if we're able to, just to go around. So it's like a deterrent to work with the police. We'll do what we got to do, but you're right. It is I don't know if you mentioned the pets. That's probably worse for the pets than anything else. But, you know, a few years ago, we did have 4 fires on the 4th of July. We were calling a mutual aid to help fight house fires because we got overtaxed. So we do not want to have any fires, and we'll definitely put the message about fire safety. And then lastly, just for the PAL Carnival, it fell on our laps because we weren't going to be able to do it in July. One of the companies going to the Meadowlands offered that week. So we're going to run that community event. Once again, it's our second annual one. Last year went off without a hitch. It was great for the community. The community wanted it. Unfortunately, we didn't know if we were going to have it or not, but that's why it's going to be in June, not July. It was the only time one of the companies was able to come. So like I said, the PAL is doing a lot of great things, being a board member. We partnered with the rec department. We approved the agreement for the High Street building the other day. If you look at the Facebook, just pay attention to the 5 to 7-year-olds boxing. It's the cutest thing you'll ever see, I'll tell you that. So all the instructors that are volunteering their time, I commend them for what they're doing. There's instructors that aren't city employees that they go through the background checks. They're literally volunteering their time to teach 5 to 7-year-olds and then all the way up to the age of 17. So thank you to the city for working with the PAL to get that doing. Also with the PAL, partnered with the Cathedral next to the police substation, 282 Madison Ave. You saw on Facebook. That's going to be our headquarters. So probably by the fall, that'll be another community center that the city can use, rec department, partnering with the PAL. But we partner with a lot of stuff and we bring a lot of programs to the kids, and it's at no cost to any of the children too. So just follow us on social media and just thank you for the support of the city. Like I said, we're working with the city in most of the stuff we do. So that's all.
PAL is doing absolutely amazing. I did ask this question, and thank you to the chief for clarifying it, but just for the public, can you just elaborate on the different specific services that Madison offers as opposed to on High Street?
High Street is just going to be, for right now, well, the rec department's going to be working out details, but High Street for the PAL is just the rec boxing. So it's going to be
Only
an
boxing.
8-week program that we're going to try to offer 3 times a year. So spring, fall, and winter, there'll be like these 8-week programs, 2 or 3 days a week. For the little ones, I think it's just on Tuesdays. So that's just going to be there. So I want to say the sweaty programming will be there. So at the Madison Ave location is going to be basically a blank canvas for us. So if we want to do the dancing classes or self-defense classes or whatnot, that's going to be, we're actually in the process of getting like an architect to do the rendering of what it's going to look like on the inside, but that'll be like almost like a Brighton Ave Community Center, a blank room that could be multi-purposes. So a lot of after-school care, and if the Cathedral wants to run some programming there, or the YMCA, our other partner, it's basically be a blank canvas that we could use for a variety of purposes. We also have the partnership with the YMCA, so the goal was to get all the members that are active in the PAL gym memberships to the YMCA, so we actually have 3 facilities.
Appreciate
Thank you. Yep.
All right.
PALS is really doing a tremendous job. I mean, I think it's such a positive addition to the city and wonderful things that you guys are doing for the community and engaging, the community with the police officers and getting to, especially with the youth. I think it's a great thing. So good. Kudos to all of you.
Yeah, there's
Thank
a
you.
lot of work from a lot of the officers and the volunteers, and it's just it took some time to get off the ground and up and running, but now we're running full steam ahead thanks to a lot of the partnerships. So,
Thank you. Thank you for your work.
Just briefly on the handicap, I will speak to the young lady afterwards on the side and
Okay.
explain to her. But as you're aware, you've seen a lot more with the handicap lately. We have the officers that are diligently following up on complaints and so forth of that. And as you'll see in all the paperwork that's there, generally the officer responds. If they find a violation, they send a letter, a certified letter. Hey, listen, this is it. Next time this situation occurs, we'll forfeit and so forth. It's never done on the first occasion. There's always a warning. And again, all of that stuff is sent to you that you can review and so forth. That warning is given at least once. And then on a second occasion is when we recommend the removal of that and it goes through you. So you'll have all of that paperwork and backup and so forth. Just like any denials that are given, you have all of that. But you are seeing a lot more and the officers are diligently working on that because we know that we've had abuses in the past and so forth. I'm not saying it's in this case, but we have had abuses in the past and some people that maybe that shouldn't have gotten the permits and so forth that they have now. So we're doing a lot of good work on that. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I have just a quick question. With all the events that are upcoming, is there any way next meeting just to do like, it can be a quick presentation just on, I know with Fire Chief, you mentioned the plan, so and I know we already approved it in the last week already, but with the Puerto Rican Festival coming up, the 4th of July, the Dominican, just some new changes for some people who might not have read the entire agenda of what will be done this time that will allow for even more safer outdoor events, including POW, the Dominican event, the Puerto Rican Festival, just because I know a lot of people do get concerned, and when there's big gatherings comes big concerns, big problems. Just a quick, I guess, communication on how we can all work together for those events.
Absolutely. Just quickly, I've assigned we have two captains in our operations division, one assigned to one festival, one assigned to the other festival, and each one of them have come up with a security plan and so forth that I've approved through. And we've some upgrades, as you saw at some of the festivals last year. We're going to recommend that at the other festival this year. Additionally, I've been putting in for some technology for counting. So we'll have actual counters in place at the entrances and exits, so we know who's come in, who's come out, and we have those numbers, so we're all accurate with when we get told that there were 50,000 people there.
Okay.
We'll have the true
A
numbers
realistic.
Exactly, so that we'll have that. We'll put additional technology in place for that this year.
Thank you.
Okay.
Iris Rodriguez, 335 Fayette Street, Perth, Amboy. I just want to reiterate a little bit. Councilman Torres, you mentioned the umbrellas, people using umbrellas in the summertime. That's a very Hispanic tradition for I see many women and during the fireworks, that where I work, and that I'm pretty right there all day long, and they may come with their umbrellas because it's at the heat of the day. And that is a Spanish tradition. You can't compare that to New York, or if you have something in Central Park, that you're going to have hundreds and thousands of people there. But I think you got to remember, if you walk downtown like I do, you do see women with the umbrellas when it's hot outside. So to tell them that they can't have an umbrella, if there's going to be an event, they take it away, they can't have it. That's a little bit outrageous, because it is part of our custom. And like someone said before, the things we are, like maybe 75% Hispanic, and I see a lot of people doing that. And another thing is, I'm glad though that you brought up about the fireworks, because I'm concerned about that, because on my street, 2 years ago, not last year, but the year before last, it was horrible. It looked like if there was a bombs going off, okay? So I know that. But also, I know that our fireworks celebration just got started very late this year, and that's why it's on the agenda this time. I think this may be the first time that has been put on the agenda. Years before, it was put in earlier, but so I'm glad that the chief and both Chief Mullen and Chief Catano are gonna, bring up, and Councilwoman Cruz brought up about the safetyness of how we're gonna control that, and I'm glad about that. But the umbrellas, I gotta differ with you. Thank you.
I just wanted to
The umbrellas, I'm talking about large events, and there's reasons for that. Our city has invested over $2 million in technology, and all of the experts have proven that the technology is useless when you have too many people with umbrellas. There could be crime going on underneath the canopy. That's why any large event or even sporting events, you can't have an umbrella. This way the camera could see people. Last time we had a festival, there was a large incident that wound up on News Channel 12, and luckily we had cameras that caught some of it. But these are reasons why we have to think about safety for our community and use what the experts used and go by what experts call for their protocol for public safety in large groups, especially when we have events well over 3,000 people. This is what I'm talking about, where we had that many people concentrated and have violent crime at those events like we had the last time. We should take precautions.
Anybody else? But I have to say, it was not a violent crime inside the festival, it was outside. So, just to make it clear. Seeing none, I need a motion to close public session.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to adjourn the caucus meeting.
Hold on a second.
Oh, I'm
Madam
sorry.
President.
Go ahead.
I don't know where the chief of police went. Is he out there?
He might be talking to the woman for the handicap.
All right, well, I'll start.
Okay, go ahead.
Madam President, I'd like to propose that recently, I know the fire chief, they named the boat after Barczewski. So I propose that we name the police boat after Thomas Rajai, the first police officer killed in the line of duty in the city of Perth, Amboy. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we have two boats, right, chief? We have two, right?
Boats?
Yeah. We only have one?
5.
No, what I mean is, but two bigger ones. We have two big ones, right?
39, 29, and 227s.
Right, and
a
then we
smaller
have the
one.
other smaller boats.
Yes.
Okay, so my second proposal is the second boat be named after Dave Fermenza, the second police officer killed in the line of duty. And one more request. Archie, I would like the honorary name Ogden Place Patrolman, Police Officer Arcadio Rivera Jr. So, I propose those. I mean, we don't have to do it now, but I'm just saying is that, in the coming month, how do you feel about that, Chief?
Not that you need my vote, but 100% behind everything you just mentioned. And thank
I
you.
understand that Dave Fermenza's name was put on the monument today.
Unveiled today in a small ceremony this morning, yes. It was his midnight squad was coming off duty at 8 in the morning, and that's when it was. That was also the kickoff for the Unity Tour, also.
All right. No, I just wanted you to be in the room when I was talking about this.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you. I was speaking with the young lady.
it's all good.
Thank you.
All good.
Chief, while you're here, I just wanted to ask a question about if you knew of any policies for umbrellas in large gatherings of people, festivals especially.
In enclosed environments and so forth, like let's say the Arts Center and so forth, I've seen that. Generally, that comes down to, unless you can point to a specific public safety concern, that would come down to the organizers. Like we worked with some of the organizers with the backpack and the wanding of individuals and so forth coming in there, and they've worked with us. But quite frankly, I have not had any specific incidents with umbrellas that I know of.
Meaning, you're using cameras. Sometimes drones are being used to surveil a large group of people. Do we use drones?
We have a tethered drone. Yes, we do.
Are we going to use drones to police people during these festivals?
They would be out there for safety. They wouldn't be there normally.
Well, for safety reasons, what if somebody is hurt, being trampled underground? We want to see these things, correct?
Yes.
So for public safety, wouldn't you think that you would want to see the whole crowd?
Well, it makes it difficult sometimes because many tents are there, right? All the vendors have tents and so forth, so that would also block our visions
Okay,
and so
so
forth.
I understand this. I'm just saying, every professional event I go to and every city event in New York City, they don't allow you, they make you wear raincoats or other things specifically, so when they invest in technology, so that they could see the crowd. This way, there's no blind spots or things like this. I thought we're gonna be spending millions and millions of dollars in technology, that maybe we should make sure that it's gonna be totally efficient.
Well, I've heard not so much about covering of the faces. I've heard that more of the injuries potentially with it. If they have it open, people are running around, maybe get it poked in their eye with it. So I've heard for the injury on the safety side of things that way, but I haven't heard much with that. And I've been to many, many courses on mass gatherings and so forth.
Well,
In fact,
I
just
put
one
on
yesterday.
events in New York City, and the reason why the police don't let us use the umbrellas is specifically because their surveillance is not able to capture the whole crowd, and they want to see what's going on, and that's why they don't let us use umbrellas. But I guess New York City's I guess they're different. Okay, I understand.
They employ a lot of technology.
Yes, well, we just employ a lot of technology in a 3-mile place. So if we want to know how much money New York is invested in their space and how much we've invested in our space, within the last couple of years, we probably outpriced them. And percentage-wise for our 3 miles that we've invested the money for.
I can't get into things that they do over there, but there are
If you know so much
technologies
about their policy, then what is their policy for umbrellas and festivals?
in public spaces.
What is
Okay.
New York, if you know, because we're talking about that New York policy, you say you know they invest a lot in technology.
Yes.
What is their policy for umbrellas in public spaces and festivals?
It depends on the festival, depends on where it is. Generally, they have open, no backpacks, or they'll have clear backpacks or no backpacks. It all depends on what is, and
No backpack with no umbrella.
Or the
In
specific-
Central Park, if you're gonna sit there in the concert, you're gonna get wet. You can't have an umbrella in the Central Park concerts. Can't, you get wet. They wanna see the crowd, that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Clear
I'm saying
ponchos.
It's good, it's good policy. If we're gonna invest so much money, it's good policy to make sure that it's all very effective and efficient.
Councilman Torres, I do agree with what you say. I think it would assist the police department when it comes to their technology to be able to identify a specific person. God forbid anything does happen, it doesn't obscure their view, you know, if there's an umbrella, whether you're looking at it through a drone or your camera from the, what do you call those that are on the
Towers?
the towers, yes. Those, or, you know, I think what he's saying is just during a public event, you know, especially like, you know, the Puerto Rican festival and the Dominican festival in a crowded area like that, you want to be able to see everyone.
I know that, of course, as was mentioned also, it's not only for the rain or precipitation, it's also for shelter from the sun. So many times there's seniors that I've seen sheltering themselves from the sun and so forth. Now we take that away from them. You know, that may be another concern on the medical side of things, what we'd be doing in the hot sun and exposed to the elements that they would normally bring their own safety measure to shield them from that. So,
Chief, do you set this policy or does the police director set this policy?
well, again, if you're talking specifically about the festivals,
We have public safety, yes, festivals for the public safety, and yes, this policy.
well, it's
Who would set this
operations. It's really not
policy?
policy, so it's 100% under the chief of police's policy.
Okay.
It's policy and operations, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
so, great. I'm gonna be looking into other communities and seeing what their policy is specifically for festivals and this also.
Right. I'm not saying that I'm against it, sir, but I'm just saying, yeah, look at all sides of it, not just maybe what New York City does is not necessarily, you know, what we do here. Again, it's something that can be looked at, and we can work with the organizers of the festival
Yeah,
themselves.
but I'm just really concerned about the public safety of all the residents of Perth Amboy.
As am I. It's my job for 40 years now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I need a motion to adjourn the caucus.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to take like a 5-minute break, 10 minutes break, and we're going to start the council meeting. Are we ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Good evening. This is the May 8th, 2024 council meeting. Presiding officer of the council meeting, Milady Tejeda, wishes to advise the audience that the notice of this meeting has been filed with the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and posted on the bulletin board in the city clerk's office and on the city's website, indicating that today's meeting is being held on the council chamber, City Hall, 260 High Street, right after the caucus and closed session. Council President Tejeda, as a courtesy of the governing body, I will ask all individuals present, including members of the audience, to please turn off all cell phones and electronic devices. Should you need to make a telephone call, please go out in the hallway and speak in a low voice so as not to disturb the ongoing meeting. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz.
Present.
Councilwoman Morales.
Present.
Councilman Puccio.
Present.
Councilman Torres.
Present.
Council President Tejeda.
Present. Let's stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance. Dear Lord, please watch over this governing body. Please give us the wisdom to understand what we need to do for our citizen, for our city. And also, I will ask to protect all our children or our students, all our officers that are defending our country, either here in the country or abroad. Please protect all our citizens and the world against violence and everything that is happening around the world. And with that, I say amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we did not have the presentation today, and we're moving to the ordinance public hearing. 5 minutes maximum per speakers and per ordinance. Ordinance number 1, an ordinance adopting the Woodbridge Perth Amboy redevelopment plan in accordance with the local redevelopment and housing law. I need a motion to open to the public.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's open to the public. Anyone who wants to speak on this? Seeing none, I need a motion to close public hearing.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to adopt.
Move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales.
Yes.
Councilman Puccio.
Yes.
Councilman Torres.
No.
Council President Tejeda.
Yes. Agenda, public comment. Citizen may address the council on any matter on the agenda which does not have its own scheduled public hearing. Citizens shall be permitted to speak once for a maximum of 5 minutes. I need a motion to open to the public.
Move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Ken Bauer, 359 Brook Avenue. R200, authorized agreement with City of Perth Amboy Board of Education for $724,000. Is that for 36 days, the whole summer, 7 days a week, 5 days a week?
July 1st to August 31st. It's with the Board of Education. It's the breakfasts, which goes about $2.15, and the lunches, which are $4.15 apiece.
All right, so $6. So that's $20-some thousand a day. So it's 5 days a week, probably more than $20-some thousand a day. So is that in school, or is that around the parks? Is that everything?
It's in the schools that they have.
That's in the schools. So that's only the schools. That includes no money for the parks or anything else like that.
You know, this is the lunch program, the summer food program.
Right, summer food program.
So he's
Correct.
asking for the
So that's
location.
the parks.
In the
So
schools.
that includes the parks too?
No, this is within the schools.
So, okay,
Sometimes
so that's the only thing that doesn't do. So that's gonna be like $25,000 a day,
Through grant
right?
funds.
He's
I don't
asking.
care if,
Yeah.
everybody says grant funds. The state of New Jersey sends millions to federal government. Since Lautenberg been our senator or whatever the hell he was, we've sent more money there than they send back to here. So it's our money. So don't sit there and tell me it's grant money. It's our money. We send it there, just like we send the money to the county, and the county don't send it all back to us. You know, that's a joke. It's grant money. It's taxpayers' money. So don't sit there and say that's federal money. It's taxpayers' money. Every town gets this type of money. The question is, how do we spend it properly? But I'm saying that's $25,000 a day. That's a lot of money in a day. Does anybody ever look to see if that food's being thrown out or it is? $25,000 a day. That's a lot of money. I know we have a lot of kids, and I don't care. You can feed them. But to make sure we're doing it properly, because nobody ever checks these things. Nobody ever looks to see if all that food's being eaten or is it being thrown out. So we throw the money away because it's not our money. That's got to stop. That has definitely got to stop. And I know there's been incidents in the Board of Education where the vendors were making money on pizzas, I think it was at the time. And nobody seemed to do anything. And that's where our tax dollars are going. So people are getting laid off now, and no security guards are being laid off, I hear. So there are less protections for the schools. So what are we doing here? And I don't want to keep hearing it's grant money. It's our money. And New Jersey sends more to the federal government than we get back. You know, so whatever. And that's been since Lautenberg, the big Democratic guy here, was going to save us. Yeah, we're going to save us. And he does his emails and everything while he sits here. All right. R210. McMahon in Scotland, $37 for the TPW. Why DPW?
That's a typo, that's my
A
fault.
mistake.
It should come from law, and the reason for the increase is there were a few litigation matters last year that were unanticipated that caused the
All
extension.
right, but it says DPW, so it's just a
It's
mistake.
my fault.
Typo.
Yeah, typo.
Typo.
So the other one too, the change order for, it's not a change order, and that's not added to the contract, because it says change order number 2.
You're saying
That was a
204.
contract.
Right, no, the other contract, no, I'm talking about the one for,
204?
yeah,
Yeah, it's a contract with the T&M.
so that's a mistake too.
Yeah, he
Yes.
clarified it
I
before.
know he said that before, but I wanna make sure that this is not an added on to any other streets or whatever, because that might be over a certain percentage of a contract.
No.
You can't redo it.
It's for
When
a
we had
contract.
the agenda prep, we also spoke about that need to be changed, and it wasn't corrected. That's what happened.
It's for contract administration and inspection of Charles Street, Elizabeth Street, and the pedestrian plaza. Those 3 roads.
All right. The interviews are over. Have a great day and better tomorrow.
You too. Anybody else? Anything on the agenda? Seeing none, I need a motion to close public portion. Need a
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hold on, now I lost my place. Reports, Fallon Barczewski, tax collector, submitted the monthly report of collections for the month of March 2024. Ordinance, first reading, no public discussion. Number 1, ordinance appropriating $1,800,000 for renovations and upgrades to the library in and by the city of Perth Amboy in the county of Middlesex. I need a motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number 2, an ordinance of the City Council on the City of Perth Amboy, County, Middlesex, New Jersey, authorizing the sale of the property located at the Block 89 lots 9.01, 11.01, 12.01, and 13.01, commonly known as the rear portion of 525-537 Smith Street to Gateway Redevelopment LLC for the purchase price of $42,000 pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law NJSA 48, column 12A-1. I need a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
No.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number 3, ordinance of the City Council of the City of Perth Amboy County of Middlesex, New Jersey, authorizing the vacation of certain portions of Herbert Street and Market Street pursuant to NJSA 40:67-1. I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
No.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number 4, an ordinance to establish the honorary naming at the intersection Garrick Place and Pulaski Avenue as Anair Barbie Correa Way. I need a motion.
Move.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. An ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy County of Middlesex, New Jersey to prevent store salt and other solid de-icing materials from being exposed to storm water. I need a motion.
Move.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number 6, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy County of Middlesex, New Jersey, requiring the retrofitting of existing storm drain inlets to the municipal separate to the municipal storm sewer system. I need a motion.
Move it.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Okay, look at the resolution, just remember 196 have been pulled, and tell me what you want to pull for a separate vote. I'm good. Anybody?
212.
212? Okay, anything else? Anybody else? Okay, so the consent agenda is R190 through 195, 197 through R211 and R213, 524, and through R214, 524, with the amendment to 204 where it says change order number 2 to authorizing a contract. That's a change to it. So I need a motion.
And I think 210 to put law. I mean, that's a minor,
I'm sorry?
for 210, right, to put,
Law instead of.
as law instead
Oh,
of.
it's also
Yeah,
law
minor.
instead of, okay, so
Second.
roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yeah.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. R212, 524, authorizing initiation of competitive contract for professional consulting services related to the creation of the Urban Enterprise Zone 5-year plan. I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
I'm voting no because I think we should have had the 5-year plan before we expanded the SID to the UEZ.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Okay, we had, okay, public portion, 5 minutes maximum per speaker. I need a motion to open to the public.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Open to the public for anything.
No.
Seeing none, I need a motion to close public
Move.
portion.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council comments, Councilwoman Cruz?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here, and I know Mr. Rose is not here, but, if you're hearing this wonderful presentation, and I'm excited to see what's to come for the library, because there's already so much to be excited for. And I just look forward, next council meeting, just to discuss safety concerns and plan for the next upcoming events that will be held. And thank you all for being here, and for the directors, of course. Have a good night.
Councilwoman Morales?
Thank you, everyone, again, for participating tonight, whoever came. And just wanted to say, this past weekend, I was able to attend the ceremony for honoring Coach John Mazurek. It was a lot of fun, and I didn't realize how funny he was. And Ron Snipes, who was one of his star basketball players, was pretty funny too. And, we all know he's a comedian, but it was very, very fun. It was, and I'm glad that we can honor people while they're still alive. That's so, exhilarating. I feel that that's important. Just wanted to mention some things that are coming up. We do have some events, the ribbon cutting for the Pocket Park, the corner of Fayette and Goodwin, I think that's the 440. This Friday, I think it's at 10 a.m. There's also a leaf event coming up. If anybody would like to support, it is a great cause. It's a casino night this year, and they do offer scholarships for students that attend in Perth Amboy School, so it is a great cause. That's on Friday night. Also this weekend coming up is the Perth Amboy Eats Tour. I can't wait. I love to eat, and I can't wait. I don't know if any of you are joining, but I can't wait to participate in that. I wasn't able to, unfortunately, last year, but I'm going to make sure I do that this year. And also coming up as well next week is the 2024 State of the City Address. It's going to be in the Perth Amboy High School, 6:30 p.m., and I think that's a great thing for everyone to attend. And it was mentioned before about literature and the booklets that were handed out, which was also considered the state of the city. And I think that was a great idea to mail it out to a lot of people, because it reaches out people that can't attend the actual State of the City address. So it does, reach people in their homes, and they're able to read it. So I think that's the importance of mailing those out, and I don't think it's a political agenda, no matter what they say, but, that's my opinion. And last but not least, this weekend is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Congratulations to everybody.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day, and have a great week until we see you next time.
Okay, Councilman Puccio?
I would just like to give a shout out to the clerk's office and Assistant City Clerk Teresa Lopez for the outstanding job that she did tonight and preparing for the meeting. And also a shout out to the mothers that are here. Councilwoman Morales, President Tejeda, and Assistant City Clerk Teresa Lopez. Happy Mother's Day, and to the mothers that are sitting in the back of the room. I'm good.
In the room.
I'm good.
Thank you. Councilman Torres?
The other day, I saw Perth Amboy on television. It was Spanish news station, not sure, channel 41, 47, I think it was 41. And the discussion was the housing crisis in Perth Amboy, especially the rentals. And they had a little segment on it. And this is something that I feel strongly about. And the administration had made some comments during that segment. And I believe that if we work together, that we could actually do a couple of things that could impact the housing of Perth Amboy. And I have a couple of sample ordinances that I believe that could help our city, starting with one for property maintenance code that we don't have codified in our books. We should definitely have a municipal ordinance providing a detailed list, establishing regulations under state statutes for minimum maintenance requirements for residential properties. Once we establish that, then we can have a certificate of compliance. Enact an ordinance by the municipality providing a certificate of compliance for residential properties that have been inspected and is compliant with the property maintenance code. One of the big concerns also was the amount, the cost of rent, and how the rent in Perth Amboy has increased to the point where it's pricing out our working poor, and that's who our residents are. So with that going forward, we should enact some Airbnb regulations or short-term rental regulations. This ordinance will provide regulations and restrictions on short-term rentals because short-term rental market adds to the shortage in long-term rentals and has caused long-term rental rates to rise. So this is something that we should address now to provide some safeguards for our residents. I will send in samples of these ordinances to the council members and to the administration. I misspoke last time when I said after the thing that we didn't move forward on any of them, but we did. I'm sorry, I misspoke, and we did move forward on the continued certificate of occupancy. We passed that one, and I think that was great on the books. This way we put some of these rules on the books. I believe that regardless of what bureaucracy is out there, there'll be laws on the books that will be able to protect our residents' rights. Okay. Also with that, last week there was a story. Sorry to make a complete pivot to something else, but I'm going to talk about history a little bit now. And there was news stories going on last week on the New Jersey Black History Trail. And I was saddened to see that Perth Amboy is not on this trail. Metuchen is on the trail for Thomas Mundy Peterson. But Thomas Peterson lived in Perth Amboy, and he was the first African-American to vote in the United States under the 15th Amendment here in this building. And we should definitely have been on the New Jersey Black History Trail. We are a city that prides itself as a city of history. And to me, this is something that we missed about. This is something that it's not just progressive. This is our history. We should capitalize on it. And there was no reason that we're left off of this list. Now, pivoting over to, there was some other stories about filming done here in Perth Amboy. And I think that's great. But I have some questions about, are we film ready? Do we have the certifications for film readiness? The state is providing this. I attended a seminar several years ago about trying to get the municipality to become film ready. The state provides a lot of resources to help us become a film-ready municipality. And I would like to know of what did we receive in turn to see that contract that we have with that filming, and what did Perth Amboy receive? Because this should be mutual. They take up a lot of our resources, and there should be mutual relationship where we should have things in place where it benefits the city, not just for promotion, but it benefits the city where their crew would take catering from establishments that are in Perth Amboy. These are things that we could set up. And also we could set up that if there's going to be any road closures, especially a bridge, that the public should definitely be notified. That's it with my news. Happy Mother's Day. Without mothers, none of this would be taking place without the beautiful mother. So that's right.
Yes.
None of us would be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you copy Mr. Opal on those?
Yes, I definitely will. I'll send her the samples from those municipalities to see if our laws are in place, to see if we need to make any changes. But I'll definitely be sending it to everybody this week.
In response, I'll send you the city's current film ordinance, and you can take a look
Yeah,
at that. Let
absolutely.
me know what comments you have to
Okay.
that, maybe how we can
Our film ordinance it's fairly old. This was before New Jersey tried to ramp up as becoming a part of the film industry. So I think our ordinance is pretty antiquated, and we should definitely revisit it, because I think hopefully there will be a lot more of that industry visiting us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I did attend when we went to Atlantic City, I did attend to one of those, and they were talking about how to get ready for it and how to get certified for it. So I think you're right.
And Rose Morales and I attended one
Yeah.
also, yes.
Yeah.
We should
I remember
So it
them
was a
saying
very-
something about 2% that would,
Oh,
the city
yes.
would receive.
Madam President,
Yes.
I'd just like to make one little comment about the filming.
Uh-huh.
1987, when they were filming on the Victory Bridge, it was a Mickey Rourke film with Christopher Walken, and I made my screen debut. I was an extra in the movie.
Oh, look at you.
I was working off duty on the bridge, and I befriended Mickey Rourke, and he asked me if I wanted to be in the movie. So, you know, just a
You
little,
made it.
little trivia.
Now we're gonna have to watch
That's
that
a little
movie.
history, huh? Very
Movie's called
good.
Homeboy.
Yeah. So, it was pretty cool.
Good. I just want to say thank you for all of you who participated tonight, and I also attended to the ribbon cutting of Rudy Park basketball court in honor of Mr. John Masurik. It was a great event. I was very happy to be able to attend. I learned a lot about him, because of course I'm not a basketball player, but yeah, and my kids never participated in basketball, but I'm glad all the things that he did for our kids, and he continued having that connection with our now grown alumni that he was taking care of. We should continue doing things like that for people who made a difference in our city, in our schools, and with our children. And with that, I'm just going to say Happy Mother's Day to all of you. Enjoy it. Hug your mom. If she's not present, say a prayer for her. So thank you all, and I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good night. It's 8:10.
Goodness.